Viewer discretion is advised.
Uh-oh.
And also, like, in a weird way, maybe the most Pennsylvania crime ever.
Oh, God.
Like, there's just a lot happening.
I love when you're speechless.
Just there's like a lot. There's like a lot of intersecting crimes, and like everyone knows each other, and like everyone's been to jail for a while. And
Mayor of Easttown.
Yeah. There's some opioid stuff happening.
Okay.
And then, but then all the like locations are like Chipmunk Township. It's just very Pennsylvania.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm. This tracks.
Okay. Chipmunk Township.
It's like
at the end of Drury Lane.
Yeah, the sheriff at, Cherry Blossom Hill Township Lane.
Oh my God. Our dog Daisy was literally Princess Blossom Hill's Daisy Jacobson.
There you go.
Jesus Christ. And she smelled like a sewer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She was old. She had liver spots.
She had
lived too
half
long.
a tooth.
She was the Helen of dogs.
She was. She lived too many lifetimes. There is such a thing as too much.
Yeah. Okay, so lots of names and again, lots of crimes.
Mm-hmm.
Bear with me. Hugo Marcus Selensky was born in Sioux City, Iowa in 1973, although his family moved several times and he eventually ended up in Pennsylvania, which was the right fit for him.
Mm-hmm.
His parents divorced when he was 5, and Hugo struggled academically as a child. He eventually graduated high school, but was second to last in his class of 153 students.
Hey, that's not last. Woo!
The senior superlative page of his yearbook lists him as most likely to be in detention, which is ironic because he is definitely in a different kind of detention now.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
After high school, Selensky enlisted in the Marines, but he was soon discharged for failure to attend boot camp after getting in a motorcycle accident, which, I don't really understand. Wouldn't that just, if he had reported it, I think it would have just been like a medical.
I don't know.
Who knows? I don't know. Whatever. He was discharged. Then he re-enlists once he's healed up, but he's discharged again, this time for failure to report an outstanding restitution debt of $3,000 that he owed to the Luzerne County Juvenile Court.
So
he just he's just a troublemaker.
Yeah.
Okay. Picking up on that, actually.
He's doing his thing.
In 1994, when Selensky was...
That's my favorite Kenyan noise.
Speaking of Midwestern tonal.
Seriously. It's everything you need to know.
Sound like a plane going down.
In 1994, when Selensky was 21 years old, he and another man robbed the Plains Township Melon Bank, which I can only assume is where they keep all the melons.
That's where they keep all the melons.
Yeah, it's spelled like Carnegie Melon with 2 L's, but I like thinking of it as a melon bank.
Melon bank. I'm going to call my bras melon bank.
All the juicy melons.
I'll be right down. I got to strap on my melon bank.
my vault.
Oh my God. My boulder holder. So they were 21. They tried to rob this bank. They were both arrested, and Hugo was sentenced to 6 years and 10 months in federal prison.
Okay, bye-bye.
So he
Best
did
of
not.
luck.
He did not have a very easy time in prison. He pissed people off because he's a fucking troublemaker. And he's always running different scams.
Not to be trusted.
And at one point, he's stabbed by a fellow inmate.
Oh, dear.
He probably deserved it.
But but he did make one friend, a fellow inmate named Paul Weekly.
Okay.
Paul.
Okay, I was like, Paul Weekly?
Paul
Too
Weekly.
often.
Don't
Spelled like-
call weekly.
Like he was weak.
oh, got it.
And after serving, I think, his full sentence, Hugo was released from prison in 2001 after the bank robbery sentence.
Okay.
A year later, his buddy Paul Weekly was also released and went to live with Hugo Selensky at his home in Kingston Township. And this is where Hugo had moved in after he got out of prison and met a new girlfriend and was released. So also during all this time with the Marines and the bank robbing and the jail, somehow
The this and the that.
And the other
and
thing.
that. Jail and that.
Jail and it.
yeah. Zelensky also managed to father 3 daughters at this point.
He
but
sired them.
he sired them.
God.
The details are scarce
Meg.
about their
Meg.
mothers/mothers.
Oh, Lord.
One of the daughters we will get to at the end, however. We'll
Meg.
circle back.
It's the grossest
It's
fucking
disgusting.
thing.
So disgusting, and I love it.
Ugh. So only a couple months after the jailbirds, Zelensky and Weekly are reunited. A local pharmacist named Michael Kurkowski went missing along with his girlfriend, Tammy
he
Lynn
from-
Fassett.
Isn't he
Okay.
from Monsters, Inc.?
That's
Kurkowski.
Mike
Michael
Wazowski.
That's Mike Wazowski. This is Michael Kurkowski.
Okay.
You didn't do your
Keep it
paperwork.
straight.
But this guy is probably the victim of a murder, so we
Yeah,
probably
he
shouldn't-
is.
Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
But
Thought he was in Monsters, Inc. Fucking sue me.
He also
Jesus
had a
Christ.
troubled past. So
Mike Wazowski did?
Mike Wazowski,
Okay.
Michael Kurkowski, and his girlfriend, Tammy Lynn Fassett. It's important to note that Kurkowski had a recent history of being in trouble with the law himself. He had been charged with selling painkillers without a prescription to customers at his workplace, which is,
Oh.
That's just
Not
drug dealing.
good.
That's just
Yeah.
what we call drug dealing.
Right.
Okay.
well, he was a pharmacist drug dealer.
Oh, sure.
And he
was
worked-
legit.
Yeah.
It was legit.
And he worked at a pharmacy called the Medicine Shoppy.
Yes.
Oh,
I love a shoppy.
horrible name for a pharmacy.
He was
It's to
then
the point.
he was then charged with involuntary manslaughter after one of these customers died of a drug overdose.
Yup.
Mm.
Yup.
Mhm.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
So the timing of Kurkowski's disappearance was such that it was initially assumed that he'd gone on the lam, like with his girlfriend, to
'Cause of
avoid
this whole-
facing these charges.
Makes sense.
And 12 days after his disappearance, he missed a sentencing hearing. So I think they didn't treat him like a missing person when
Right.
he
They were like,
went
he's
missing.
skipping his trial, like skipping
Right.
bail or whatever. Yeah.
Which harmed the investigation, slowed down the investigation, basically.
Mm-hmm.
However, on June 5th, 2003, so this is over a year after their disappearance, police arrived at Hugo Selensky's house to arrest him on charges of robbing a different but related man
Melon Bank.
of $40,000 and also scamming him out of $60,000 previously.
Hmm.
And the victim of this theft and also the scam was Michael Kurkowski's father, Michael Kurkowski Sr.
Oh.
I believe what might have happened is that, and I read somewhere that this is like the working theory that like Selensky went to Kurkowski's father and was like, hey, we're working on some like drug deals together and he's holding money for me and I need this amount of money. And
Mhm.
Michael was disappeared
Mm.
and the father took this guy's word for it and gave him money that he was holding for his son. And then
So it was almost ransom, but he wasn't placing himself as the bad guy.
it was
off the
like
bat?
ransom due to miscommunication.
it wasn't even ransom. It was like the father probably thought that his drug dealing son had skipped town.
Skip town, yeah.
And the father was holding large sums of money for his son
Mm-hmm.
and didn't know his son was dead.
Mm-hmm.
And Selensky was friends with his son, and Selensky was like, hey, yeah, he's holding money for me. Like, I need this money.
Yeah.
And the dad gave
to help
him
your son.
chunks of the money. And then I think Selensky came back a third time asking for more money, and the dad was like, there is
now
no
something's
more.
off. Yeah.
Where's
Yeah.
my child?
Yeah.
I
That's
have
what
a
I think.
child.
I have a child. He's all I have.
So Kurkowski's parents would later tell investigators that their adult son considered Hugo his best friend.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
That's never good. Take it from us.
So then, in the course of arresting Selensky
Jesus.
about this money stuff with Kurkowski's father,
Mm-hmm.
the police conducted a thorough search of his property, and they discovered 2 bodies buried in a shallow grave in the backyard.
Whose are they?
Oh, I wonder.
And
Mike was
I'm a little
asking.
pissed because this motherfucker had a swimming pool, and I am jealous of that fact.
Ugh.
Anyway,
Were they under the pool?
Is that where they were buried?
they
Or
were
next
not
to the pool.
They
Floating
were
in the pool?
They were. I don't know how far from the
Adjacent
pool they
to
were,
the pool.
but they were
Okay.
not in or under the pool.
All I care about is the pool. Was it a plunge pool? Was it
It
a
was
lap
an infinity pool?
No, it's just like a nice rectangular pool.
A classic.
Yeah.
Classic lap.
So these remains would soon be identified as belonging to Michael Kurkowski and Tammy Lynn Fassett.
Michael
Tammy Lynn.
So investigators then receive a tip from the community after like word gets out that these bodies were found on the property. And the tip says that even more bodies are at that site.
Oh,
Keep
serial
digging.
killer.
Keep singing.
Keep digging.
Keep digging.
And this
Ooh,
would
that's
prove
juicy.
correct. So a
Oh, dear.
second excavation revealed 2 more bodies buried in makeshift graves.
Oh, shit.
Who's
So these would later be identified as belonging to 29-year-old Frank James, who was also known as, quote,
Frankie J.
Rudy from New York City.
Oh, that's not good. What year is
Best
this?
nickname.
This is like, when did they find the body?
Oh,
2003?
Rudy from New York.
2003? 2004?
Wow.
So that is super not the only Rudy from New York at
No.
the time.
And a 23-year-old Guyanese man named Ideye Osasis Keeler, who went by the nickname Red Man.
Mm.
Jesus.
So a witness later came forward to police claiming that both of these men, Frank James and Ideye Keeler, had been drug dealers, and they were involved with Hugo Selensky as well as some other guy. You know, it's just like a bunch of
Yeah.
fucking names and people
Yeah.
and drug dealing. And that Selensky and an accomplice named Patrick Russin had, quote, shot them execution style before burning their bodies in a pit in the backyard, and then like realizing that it's
Oh.
hard to fucking burn a body and
Don't
then
try to burn a
pit.
fucking body.
burying
Just
the
don't.
rest of the body because they didn't get far with burning them.
My
Shit.
God.
Oh, Scott told me that if you
Oh, God.
burn a body at a high enough heat, the bones will actually crystallize. Isn't that cool?
Why does Scott know that?
Because he's doing research for his novel.
Oh, right.
And he texts me all of the creepy facts that he finds.
Oh,
Okay,
I like it.
cool.
Anyway, continue.
So eventually, a 5th body would also be
Jesus.
discovered on the property.
Great.
This place is a graveyard.
Yeah. But that victim has still never been publicly identified, and it's believed to be another like person that was involved in the drug dealing somehow, but they don't know
Mhm.
exactly who. And the cops have called it like a graveyard for bad guys, end quote.
Mhm,
But also
mhm.
like
That's really
you're still should never, no one deserves to be
Fuck no.
murdered.
no. And
just
also,
plopped in someone's pool area.
just because you're involved in drugs doesn't make you a bad guy.
Correct.
It's ridiculous.
Right. Not necessarily. And also Tammy Lynn,
Right.
who knows how much she knew about any of
Right.
this.
Right.
Tammy Lynn.
Or any of these other people who they happened to find.
Mhm.
So 5 total bodies in this guy's backyard.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's way more bodies than should be in anyone's backyard unless your backyard is a cemetery.
A lot of
Right.
digging, too.
Or a golf course that you want to make tax exempt.
Right. A public sex
thought
forest.
that was a bad joke, and it's not.
No, it's real. And have you seen the pictures of her forlorn pauper's grave?
Has she?
Wait,
this has
what?
already happened?
Yeah.
Oh,
This is
my.
based in a thing that's
Honey.
happening on the internet.
Oh, honey, you missed this. Ivana Trump was
Oh.
buried at Trump's Bedminster golf course
Oh.
in like a shitty, not even like nice area.
It's just like on the side
What?
so
Yeah.
that his golf course would be tax exempt.
Yeah.
He used his dead ex-wife's corpse as a tax loophole.
Yeah.
Oh my
And also
God.
they like buried her in like a coffin shaped hole, but she was cremated and put in an urn.
What?
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Well, this episode isn't airing for a few weeks, so please
We might have
pardon
answers.
while we're discussing this now. But
Mhm.
as
Wow.
I heard about this yesterday.
Mhm.
Oh, I've
Okay.
been following it.
I had not. In my unwellness, I had not been up to speed on this.
Yeah. She's
Wow.
buried near the first hole.
Oh God.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
Yep.
You cannot make this bullshit up.
Yep.
That is too much.
Look up the pictures of the grave because it is so much uglier and sadder than you're even picturing.
Oh no. Okay.
I'll drop a picture on the drive.
Okay.
Oh.
So Hugo Zelensky is charged with 2 counts of homicide for the deaths of Rudy from New York and Redman.
Mhm.
But no charges were initially filed against him in connection with the deaths of Kurkowski or Facette or this 5th body yet. And that seems to have been a strategic move on the part of the prosecutor. So basically, like, if he somehow got off for the first 2 murders, they could still have another go at him in court for double homicide,
Mhm.
you know? Lucy, are you there?
I'm here. I'm just looking
Okay.
at the grave.
So Zelensky was incarcerated at the Luzerne County Jail, which
Mhm.
he'd already been familiar with as a juvenile, to await trial, but managed to escape from a maximum security ward by using bed sheets to climb down 7 stories and then scale a razor wire fence.
Oh my
That
God.
is impressive.
That's
His
tall.
His fellow
Yeah.
escapee, like another random name dude, just that he met in prison, fell during their attempt and had to be hospitalized for severe injuries
Oh my God.
because he
Yeah.
fell from 7 stories.
Yeah, you're gonna get hurt.
But Zelensky made it off the property relatively unscathed. But his escape was still brief. Just 3 days later, he surrendered to state police at his own home. So he went back to his house. I don't know if he was
Exhausted.
trying to get money to go on the run or
okay.
hide evidence.
He didn't
or,
turn himself in. He was just caught at his own home.
Yeah, he was caught at his own home 3
In
days
my head,
after
I'm
escaping.
like, I'm tired. I'm done. I'm going home. They're waiting for me there. I'm
no, they
done.
went to his house
And he was there.
and he was there and then they
Holy
surrounded it.
shit.
Jesus.
Yeah.
God. Oh my God, Lucy, that picture is so tragic.
It might
Don't marry a
not
narcissist.
be real, but I don't
No,
know.
it's real.
Oh.
That's real.
The one with the golf cart.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's just from a sketchy source, so I don't know.
Oh. Okay, continue. I
Mhm.
will eventually recover from this.
You don't have to.
You're right.
So-
I don't.
When his case went to trial, the judge in the case ruled that a confessional statement that he had made to police wherein he basically says that there are actually 5 bodies buried on his property.
Right.
Could not be brought up at trial because Zelensky had not been read his Miranda rights. Which now, if it
Good thing the
happened...
Supreme Court tossed that out the fucking window.
Right.
Never talk to the cops. Just
No.
please, don't do it. Even if you didn't fucking do anything, don't help. Just don't. Just don't.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
So, shockingly, after 3 days of deliberation, a jury cleared Zelensky of all charges except for 2 counts of abuse of a corpse for the burning.
Oh yeah, he's fine. He's my old buddy.
Cleared
we
of
used to
everything?
go, we used to go
Basically-
pharmaceutical fishing together.
I think basically, like, he definitely had an accomplice for these murders, and he was able to just be like, well, how can you prove that I
Right.
killed them and not this other guy?
I
It
mean,
wasn't
yeah,
me.
that's some good lawyer shit, but it's
When they
just
caught
like,
me on the counter,
fuck.
it wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
Yeah.
Saw me
He
banging on the sofa. It wasn't me.
Saw me burning bodies in the backyard. It wasn't
Yeah.
It
me.
wasn't me.
Prove
So
it.
Zelensky stated in an interview after the verdict, quote, "I'm not claiming I wasn't involved, but there are other people involved." It was basically just a question of like who pulled the trigger, like we can't know.
Mhm.
So the state responded by immediately charging him with the murders of Kurkowski and Facette. So they had their backup, and it's a good thing they did. They alleged that he had tortured Kurkowski, his fucking best friend,
Mm-hmm.
during a robbery at the pharmacist's home in an attempt to get him to reveal the location of tens of thousands of dollars that he was known to have been hiding.
That is so fucking gross.
And then strangled Kurkowski and Facette using zip ties.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
Oh, that is
Ooh.
really fucked up.
And transported both bodies back to his home to hide them.
Ugh.
So this
Zip
time,
ties.
prosecutors also charged Paul Weekly and added a criminal conspiracy charge. And they alleged that the 2 men had plotted to carry out the murders together, like as soon as Paul got out of prison, that they had been like cooking up this plan.
Hmm.
And around this time, Zelensky and Paul Weekly were also charged. I told you there were a lot of crimes.
Yeah, I'm like,
What now?
With
Yeah.
a home invasion and robbery that they committed in Chestnut Hill Township
yes.
Chipmunk.
Chestnut Hill.
before the bodies were
Oh.
discovered. So they had also done this other home invasion, and the home that they robbed belonged to a local jeweler who claimed that the 2 men broke into his house, tied his hands with flex ties, and put duct tape over his eyes and mouth
Oh, God,
while they
that's
ransacked
brutal.
the house for value. If somebody puts fucking duct tape over my eyebrows,
You're done. You're fucking done.
Lashes.
I will seek the death penalty.
Especially if I had fake lashes on. Can you imagine? That would
Yeah.
hurt so bad. They dig into your eyeballs.
It's not good.
Mhm.
None of this is good.
Seek the death penalty.
I would seek the death penalty, and I'm against it.
Yeah, right.
So Zelensky and Weekly are convicted for just this home invasion and robbery. Set the murders aside for a second.
Oh, okay.
So they're charged and convicted for the jeweler robbery on 14 charges related to that and sentenced to between 32 and a half to 65 years in prison. So they
Okay.
already got them for like a good chunk of time, but now we want to put them away forever.
Mm-hmm.
From here, don't worry, things get even more convoluted.
Good.
Oh, I was
I
worried.
was having too easy a time keeping up with this, so thank you.
My flow chart was looking a little too
A little
simplified.
dry. Yeah.
So Paul Weekly turns against Zelensky
Yes.
and agrees to become a key witness for the prosecution in the murder trial,
Well, duh. Things are getting hot.
right?
He doesn't want to go away forever.
So then a different inmate at the jail where they're being, or the prison, I guess, where they're being held, was charged with plotting to kill Paul Weekly,
Uh-oh.
which was definitely at the behest of Hugo Zelensky.
God.
I know how to fix this.
And this inmate, in turn, had offered $1,000 to who he thought was a hitman, who was actually, surprise, surprise, an undercover state trooper.
It's never an actual hitman.
Never.
Like, you guys.
Never.
No.
How much do we have to go over this?
Stop trying to hire a hitman.
They don't exist.
They don't exist. Anyone calling themselves a hitman is an undercover agent, and actual people who will kill people for you are just murderers.
They're your best friends who
And
you've
they
known for
don't
decades.
try to call themselves hitmen.
They don't
You've
put
known
out
them for
ads on
decades.
Craigslist.
No, we keep it down low.
Yeah.
So then Zelensky gets charged and indicted by a grand jury on charges of witness tampering because he tried to fucking kill his former best friend to silence him.
I'm obsessed with
Another
this, and I
one.
want this movie.
And another one.
And another one.
Oh my
I am
God.
once again
Calling him.
Threatening to kill my best friend.
threatening to kill my best friend so he doesn't turn state's witness.
I told you it's the most Pennsylvania crime of all
I am
time.
once again
I am
attempting
once
to murder
again.
my best friend so he doesn't turn into a state's witness. This is getting old to the old hat.
So finally, in February of 2015, 13 years after their murders,
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
a jury convicted Zelensky of 2 counts of first-degree murder for the deaths of Michael Kurkowski and Tammy Lynn Fassett.
Oh, Mike Kikowski.
Poor Mike.
Sev-
and
Finally,
Sammy.
justice.
Several members of Zelensky's family spoke at his sentencing to describe how he had been, quote, a good father, brother, and uncle, even behind bars.
Brother. Hello, mother. Hello,
Hello,
father.
frequently giving life advice, end quote.
Okay.
Oh.
So
Oh, God.
I don't know what kind of life advice this guy would give, but
Oh, I thought we were
Bury
talking
them
about the
under
dead
the
one.
pool.
Sorry.
yeah, next time.
I didn't mean to sound sympathetic. I thought we were talking about the dead one.
No, this
Okay,
is a
got
killer.
it.
Meanwhile, the prosecution countered that, quote, the defendant has repeatedly used fear and lies and pain and death in order to obtain frivolous material things. And yeah, it was like
And
always.
threats?
Yes?
No? Sure?
Maybe?
It's implied.
Oh, yeah, okay. I just assumed.
Okay.
It was always over money and not even like huge amounts of money, like
Mm-hmm.
30 grand here and
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. You're not going to retire on that.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So Tammy Lynn Fassett's sister, Lisa, told reporters, quote, I'd like to see him get the death penalty. I think he's a scumbag, plain and simple.
He fucked up her eyebrows.
Yeah, jag off.
Death penalty.
Get him.
I think if you paid him to kill your mother, he'd do it. He'd kill anybody.
Yeah, he sounds like a fucking low-life asshole.
Yeah. Ultimately, he avoided the death penalty, but he was sentenced to life in prison for these murders. So that's good. He didn't get off on these.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
In 2021, he began proceedings to appeal this conviction by claiming that his trial attorneys were ineffective, a very classic like appeal attempt.
Mm-hmm.
So like TBD, but signs do not look good.
Probs not. Yeah.
Your outlook
5
does not
bodies
look good.
by your pool. Bye-bye.
In a particularly bizarre twist, one of Zelensky's adult daughters, Jamie Lee Bartu, was arrested in 2018 for attacking her live-in boyfriend after a raucous night of drinking, alongside Kim Kurkowski, Michael's
what?
ex-wife.
They're still friends.
So Zelensky's
Yeah,
daughter.
Kim and I stayed close. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
After the divorce, Kim and I stayed close.
After the
Yeah.
murder.
After my dad murdered her husband,
Mm-hmm.
she and I stayed close. I stayed close with the ex-wife of the dead guy that my dad murdered.
Wow. This is ridiculous.
Whoa. That's a good twist.
See, I told you, everybody fucking knows each other, and they're all just like kind of low life scum.
So the ex-wife was also arrested for the violence, or she had just been drinking with the ex-wife?
It sounds like they had just been like, having
Hanging
a house
out.
party or hanging out and drinking too much, and then Jamie Lee
Curtis.
attacked her boyfriend, and he called the cops.
Mm-hmm.
Christ almighty.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Wow. That was
So
a weird
Well
one.
done.
There's more that we couldn't even get to, more minor crimes that these fools got up to. Who the fuck
Natch.
knows?
Natch.
But yeah, there you go. That's Hugo Selensky.
Wow.
Nice
Thank you
work.
for that.
That was a good fanfic.
I feel like I'm in Pittsburgh.
Right?
Yes.
Or Chestnut Hill Township. Whatever the
Right.
fuck that is.
Feel like I
do
need to go
appreciate,
rinse
though,
off.
Yeah, that we actually, regardless of not doing the exact requested,
Mhm.
topic, we all went to Pittsburgh with our shit.
Oh, we did.
Just naturally.
I don't know if it's near Pittsburgh. I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Because my
Well,
shit's in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh is southwest Pennsylvania, and they requested northeast Pennsylvania.
Oh.
So
Easton
right.
Township.
Never mind.
Where is
Never
that
mind.
in
Close.
Pennsylvania?
Well,
Luzerne
we all
County.
went to Pittsburgh.
We all went to Pittsburgh, Amanda says confidently. Wrong.
We did it. We did it.
Yeah, so it's near, my case is near Wilkes Bar / Scranton.
Well, I sure hope you liked that clip. If you did like that clip, make sure you are subscribing to our YouTube channel, leaving us a nice review, and joining us on Patreon for even more video content, audio content, salacious content all around. Come join us. Treat yourself.